Alright everyone, I want to thank you all so much for watching this video here along US-95 between Las Vegas and Beatty, Nevada. So this drive here along Highway 95 through Nevada between Las Vegas and Beatty is really just the start of a really long rural drive between southern Nevada and northern Nevada. Basically, the only large city that US-95 passes through in Nevada is Las Vegas, and it's the main north-south freeway through the greater Las Vegas region. And on top of that, US-95 is basically the main north-south route in Nevada, as it connects the two largest metropolitan areas in Nevada, with that being Reno and Las Vegas. And on another side note, so US-95 actually doesn't go to Reno itself, but it takes you in the direction that you need to get to Reno, if that makes sense. So yeah, US-95 is definitely one of the more important routes here in Nevada, that's for sure, and it's also the longest road in Nevada at 646 miles or 1,040 kilometers. It is a very long drive from the southern part of the state to the northern part of the state. Nevada is the 7th largest state, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. It could be the 6th, but I think it's the 7th, so you really get a sense of just how big Nevada is if you drive through the entire state along US-95. So when you leave Las Vegas, Highway 95 is a 4-lane divided highway through the remainder of Clark County, and then for the first few miles of Nye County as well. Not until you get past the Mercury exit out there towards the Nevada test range does the highway downgrade to a 2-lane road with occasional passing lanes, and it's going to remain like this all the way up to Interstate 80 up there in northern Nevada, where it meets I-80 there south of Lovelock. So one thing to definitely note about this stretch here between Las Vegas and Beatty, or Beatty, I've heard two different pronunciations of this town. When I was doing research of this town, I've heard most pronunciation pronounce it as Beatty, but when I had Google Maps through Siri on my phone, it's kind of funny. It actually said Beatty instead of Beatty, so I'm not sure how to pronounce it, so I'm just going to say both, and you guys can tell me in the comments which one it actually is. Hopefully somebody local can actually comment, although there's only about 800 people living in that town, so shout out to you if you're watching this from Beatty or Beatty, Nevada. So one thing that's pretty noticeable once you leave Las Vegas is that you immediately start to gain elevation once you leave the Las Vegas Valley. The Las Vegas Valley sits roughly 2,000 feet above sea level, and then you're about 3,500 feet once you get up there towards Indian Springs, and then you start making your way up towards Beatty and you're at about 3,300 feet. So you basically transition out of the Mojave Desert that dominates southern Nevada into the Great Basin Desert that dominates central and northern Nevada throughout the course of this video, which is pretty cool in my opinion. You actually enter the Great Basin proper, I believe just past Indian and Cactus Springs. Like right up there where the Nye and Clark County line, I believe, is where you actually enter the Great Basin, so water can no longer reach the ocean from that point north, versus down there in the Las Vegas region where the water can eventually flow into the Colorado River and reach the Pacific Ocean down there at the Gulf of California or Sea Cortez. So yeah, this is just the start of a series of videos here along Highway 95 in Nevada that will basically showcase most of the drive between southern and northern Nevada up there towards the Reno region. We'll actually go almost all the way up there towards Fallon, believe it or not, and then after that we'll just pretty much end the series, but we got a long ways to go until we get there, obviously, so let's just take it one video at a time, shall we? So yeah, I hope you guys will be looking forward to that. I really think Highway 95 in Nevada is a very underrated drive. I know a lot of people who drive this route regularly between Las Vegas and Reno probably don't like it too much because you basically pass through a whole lot of nothing between Nevada's two big population centers. But I drove this during the late spring of 2024, and man, it was just a really awesome day to drive this. There wasn't a single cloud in the sky, and just the amazing views of the mountains as we kept heading north were just absolutely amazing. I cannot wait for you guys to see that as we continue our journey up Highway 95 through Nevada. Alright folks, before we end off the video here, I just want to give a quick shout out to all my social media accounts that you can see right here on the screen. I really hope you guys can follow me on my Twitter/X at InterstateKyle. You guys can also join my Facebook group. Both the links to those are down in the description. Also in the description is the link to my Instagram. I'm really trying to grow that right now. I'm trying to get up to 100 followers on my Instagram page. So something that's really cool about my Instagram page is if you guys like watch my stories when I'm on road trips, you can actually see where I am on real time, which I think is really cool that you guys can actually be there in real time, because I know a lot of these videos here on YouTube can get dated pretty quick. Heck, I'm still releasing videos from 2 years ago that have been sitting on my hard drives on my computer basically. So if you guys want to see where I am in real time, I highly recommend checking out my Instagram, because that's just a really awesome place for you guys to see where I'm at and interact with me, and maybe gives me some recommendations of places to check out if I can read it in time, of course. So yeah, I just really want you guys to check out all my social media accounts and make sure you're following me on there for all the latest updates and everything like that. So I would really appreciate it. Alright folks, it's time for plugs here as we get ready to end off the video here. And the first thing I want to plug is my Patreon. So if you guys join my Patreon, you can literally watch all of my videos a few weeks in advance, sometimes even longer than that, just depending on how much content I'm making at the moment. So yeah, it's a great way to support me and my YouTube channel, and of course all the money that I make on there just goes right back into this YouTube channel, and of course the future travels that I go on as well, and then the various equipment that I buy to make these videos possible, of course. So yeah, I hope you guys will consider joining that. It's just really cool that you guys can support me on there, and you guys can just choose whatever level you want to join based on your budget and everything like that. I would really appreciate it if you guys would check it out. There is a link to my Patreon down in the description. And another thing that is set up on my channel is Super Thanks, which is located to the right of where you would normally like one of my videos. What that basically is just a way for you guys to tip me out for each video going forward if you feel that I've earned it, of course. And then all the money on there also goes right back to this channel to keep producing more of these types of videos in the future. And with all that said, folks, I really hope you all enjoyed this ride here along Highway 95 in Nevada between Las Vegas and Beatty. We will continue this drive here up into northern Nevada in the next video, so be sure to stay tuned for that. And I hope you all have an amazing day, and stay tuned to the next adventure. Thank you all so much for watching.